In this example, we're going to want to send not just variables, but rather behavior from the parent to the children. This is going to be called lifting. So what we want to have is we want to have some children which are going to be able to alter the state of the parent. In this case, what we want to do is when we click either of these users, we want to go to a user details page. So we started from export finished, and we're going to need a couple more, one more component. And in this case, it's going to be user details. And let's assume this is reasonably simple. So user details of props. And this is going to destructure a property we've presumably received from our parents. I'm going to say item comes from props. And it's just going to render this item in a simple form. Now, assuming we want to render our item, we're just going to do return, and we're going to do something simple, just a series of headings in a div. So let's say h1 is going to be item.username, h2 is going to be item.fullname, and h3 is going to be item.type. Also notice that if by some method we get here, we're going to want a method to get back. Unfortunately, we don't have it yet, but let's assume we're going to have it in the future and have a cancel button. For now, we have nothing to put on the cancel button. Now, the way to select to get to our user details is going to be from the user list. This component is either going to show a list of users or it's going to show the details for a particular user. So we need the idea of a user being selected. So selected and set selected is use state of, and we need this is going to be an ID of a user, and we need an ID which doesn't correspond to any particular user, and in this case it can be 0. Now depending on what is selected, we can go here to use list. We're going to say if selected is 0, right? So if nothing is selected, then we're going to do exactly what we did before. Otherwise, right, so there's something missing here, which is that we should return a single root. We could return a div, or we could use a pseudo root. Right, so otherwise it's going to be a user details, and we're going to want to send it a couple of things. So the first thing we want to send it is what is it the details for. Right, so it's going to be item, and we need a user, so it's going to be whatever user has the ID that was selected. So users.find e.id selected. Now we need something else, which is a way to return, and since returning is going to be equivalent to setting the selected value to its initial value, this means on cancel can be set selected of 0. This can only happen in the parent, however, but it can be called from the child. Now back to user details, we can actually say on cancel, on click, sorry, is, well, we have to get it from the props first. So it's from the props we extract item and on cancel. So here we can do on click as a handler which just calls on cancel. Now this gets us back, but we can't actually get to the user details page. And the way to do this is to do it from the user. So if we go back to user list, we should give each of our users the ability to be able to select themselves, right? To select themselves for details. And this is going to mean that on select is going to be a handler which says set selected of whatever element we're at. Now back into user, we said that we're going to click the whole square, so we can say on click on the div itself. And here we're going to say, for example, we're going to say we extract on select, and on click we're just going to call on select. And if we go back to our application and look at it, we can see that we can both go to a details page and return from it.